good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are and what time it is where you're joining us from. Welcome to Speak It with Zoliswa. I am so excited to have you here today. We talk about anything and everything, and the conversation is just flowing depending on what is the nature of things. And today, I am sharing this space with you with my daughter from another mother. I have been very naughty. I did not inform her upfront that I was going to do this. I just said, I hope you have a lipstick on and I would like to go live with you. Her name is Asavela Mbatha. She's also known as DJ Vela Funk. She is a broadcaster somewhere, but to me, she is just my daughter. She once did something very naughty to me and got me out there in the sport. I did not expect her naughtiness to get to that level, and I thought this is a perfect opportunity. It's payback time. Hi, Asavela.
Hi Zoli, hi Zoli. Oh my goodness. I am out here not knowing where to hang my head and hide. You got me.
Hiding
Thank
doesn't
you.
work.
Thank you for warning me to wear lipstick, but knowing me, I'm always decent. Even in my deathbed, I make sure that if I'm about to die, I make an exit flawless and slaying.
I love that. I thought I must just get you in today to talk about your journey with COVID 19. A number of
Yes.
people don't talk about COVID 19. There is a stigma around having COVID 19. And when I came across your post on one of the social media platforms, I was doing some quarantine, self quarantine of my own because I had been exposed with somebody who had been exposed. And I just felt that the responsible thing to do is to stay at home, even though I had
Yeah.
not tested. But for you, you got tested and the
Yes.
test came out as positive. And
Yes.
here you are not at the comfort of your own home. You're quarantined. You are looking pretty. You even have lipstick on. You're looking prettier than me at my house. How has the journey of COVID 19 been like for you?
Okay, so I'm gonna start with the reasons behind deciding that I'm gonna go get tested, because I think over and above it, number one, generally I'm not a sickly person, and I'm one of those people that I actually would wish that you can I not just get sick so I can book off and stay at home. That is me in general, in a nutshell. And this time, I had been working throughout the lockdown, even in the earlier stages. However, practicing all the cautious measures in accordance to what was communicated, the social distancing, staying at home. As a result, when you go to my house, our gate is always locked. My mom makes sure has the gate locked. So fast forward to about 2.5 weeks ago, I started feeling sick, showing all the symptoms, the headaches, and just tiredness, unusual tiredness. But then I still went on about my usual business, and I thought, it's maybe the body telling me to slow down from all the series of work that I was doing. And then I went to work that Saturday, but I was beginning to feel that I am completely not up to standard. And then I called a doctor friend of mine and told him that, listen, man, this is how I'm feeling. Are there any GPs open on a Saturday afternoon? I just want to go get tested, actually, not even get checked out for flu, because this is not usual. I had a very unusual headache, um, dizziness, uh, look, the loss of smell. My ears were just getting itchy, and I felt like something was just sitting on my head, you know. And then I eventually went to get tested. And then after that, I went home. Made sure I was in bed, I relaxed. I actually treated myself as if, I was already positive, because I was actually responding to my body. I was treating my body in accordance to what I was feeling. So, and then 2 days later, I got the call. The results were positive, and I immediately was moved away from home to where I currently am.
So here you are, you're receiving the results. They say you are positive. And if
Mm,
you tune onto any radio station, including the one that you broadcast at, there will be
yeah,
COVID-19 update. If you look at any television station, you're going to see channel, you're going to see an update of some kind. COVID-19, social media is everywhere. The number of
yes.
people infected, the number of people that have tested positive, and the number of people that have died. Didn't this trigger some kind of I'm on my way to the grave as you receive the results as having tested positive?
Look, I won't lie. I was in an instant panic even before, even prior to getting my results. But I don't remember ever in my thoughts where death was an option. Um, I was just preparing my mind on dealing with the uh, the humpy corners of the journey, as to, physically, mentally, what am I going to do? I didn't just bank and relax on the fact that I'm a generally healthy person and not sickly, because I don't know what this is. I've heard of people who went to bed with nothing and their postmortem results came back saying that they had a trace of COVID-19. And amongst of the contributing factors to their death was that. So I really I prayed harder than I've never done before. My mother was there. I could see the fear in her eyes. I could see the concern. I could, the tone, Jay. We are both praying people. And I remember my mom saying to me, you know what, my child, some of the people who've, surrendered to this virus were also equally praying people, even praying more than us. So let's not take for granted that God is going to exempt us from death because of this, but let's do what we can. Let
Mm.
us do what we can to make sure that we beat this.
And
So,
then, okay,
and
and then the
yes,
time when you posted on social media something along the lines of this COVID-19 has nothing on me, ngizoyibonisa, that kind of a message. And that's how I
yes,
got to know what was happening in your life. And I suppose a number of people would have made contact with you, sending you messages, calling you, and you told me that at some point you just decided not to take calls and not to listen to voice messages. Share that part of your journey with us.
at the point where I look, being a creative myself, we tease about certain things that are happening in our lives. You don't just blatantly put out that personal element of your life out there. So I was like, those who are smart enough, they will read between the lines. But this is what I'm currently feeling, and this is my message to this. And I had undergone all emotions you can imagine. I had cried myself in a halt. I had um, felt that I might not wake up the following morning. But that moment, I was like, Jonga, I am at this moment now. I have beaten the feelings of fear and I am going to live. This thing is showing me different flames every moment. One moment I'm okay, the next I am sick, the next I am helpless. But then now, with the energy that I have now, COVID indeed, this is my message to you. And I am gonna get past my 10 days or whatever days that I need to get past before life goes back to normal again.
Interesting. I really find that very interesting. As a mindset advocate, I, of course, advocate positive mindset and always looking at what can happen out of this situation as opposed to what cannot happen. And
Mm,
you spoke about the fear that you had and you overcame. A number of people, whether they have had COVID or they have somebody that they know or they have just been watching the news, are so held they are held back by fear in terms of seeing the future. What got you to overcome that fear and say, you know what, kind of F off, and I'm going to leave and I'm going to get out of this situation?
you know, much as in my avoidance of calls of pity, understanding where those people came from, and I really appreciate those thoughts, they prayers. Mine was that life is expecting me back. And who is the definition of life to Asavela Mbatha? The definition of life is the people I'm in contact with. In this particular order, it's my daughter, it's my mother, it's my family, and it's those people that I am yet to make a difference in their lives. It is also a purpose that I'm yet to fulfill in life at large. So that was what pushed me the most. Also, again, not maintaining that arrogance, yoba, I've got a purpose and an end. The people who've surrendered to the virus also had a purpose, also felt they had a purpose. But mine, I was like, I am elite. I am me. I am Asavela Mbatha. I am not smarter than anyone. Yet, life, you need to give me another chance.
Mm.
So those are
And
things I was telling myself over and over again.
mm, and I like
Then,
the fact that not
sorry to
compare.
interject. Sorry to interject. And I had the Zoliswas of this world who would be like, yeah, where to? What's the plan after the 25th of July? Because we are definitely not mourning your death.
Well, your grave is not one of the 1.5 million that will soon be opened. I called you, and when I called you, the first time when I called you, I couldn't reach you. So I left a message for you to come back to me. And I said
Mm,
to you, I hope I have not been insensitive to you because I'm not about the life of a PT party. I'm about to
mm,
say, you are getting some kind of a holiday because we have very busy lives. As an essential services worker, you had to be at the radio station, you had to be in the other engagements that you were busy with, and you did not have the luxury of the time that some of us had by being locked down. So you did not slow down. You've been rushing
mm,
and running and doing things at a high pace all along. And so I said to you, this is a forced opportunity for you to just shut up, shape up, and when you come out of quarantine, you're going to show up. When you come out of this, you must have something to show for it. And that is also going to give you a reason to continue. When you have a headache, of course, they say COVID 19 doesn't have any treatment, but you will be treating the
mm.
symptom. You're going to reach out for a Panado, a Disprin, or whatever they are calling it. And
Yeah.
if you are feeling that there is a little bit of an issue with your throat, you're going to go for umhlonyane if you have access to it, or anything to that effect. But you are going to always focus on the life after your quarantine, because
Mm,
that is what we are looking at. And before you respond to that, Love Tintin says, I resonate with your approach to the COVID news, Asa. Thanks to Zoliswas of the world who refuse to allow us to get into pity and victim mode. Thank you so much, Love Tintin. We appreciate you joining us. And indeed, that's the spirit. And I thought I should call you, Asavela, so that you could come and be a living testimony. It may appear as if people that have not been in your situation are distant from it and they are coming up with theory, but yours will be richer in the sense that it's theory and some kind of a personal experience. So back to the
yeah.
question. The Zolis was called and said, enjoy your holiday, but what are you going to have to show for it when you come out of there? How did you interact with those kinds of messages?
Because they were the expected messages in the phone calls that I had and the text at large were that of pity. Some were not even sure whether to reach out, and when they do, what do they say? How do they behave? It's somehow like death, you know. Whenever you show remorse to a bereaved loved one, you never know what to say. It was quite awkward. It was quite awkward for me, especially when I respond in a manner that wants to reassure the next person that I'm fine. You know, it was that okay, but how are you feeling? Kubuhlungu kuphi? I've got a nurse aunt. I've got an aunt of mine who's a nurse in the Eastern Cape. So each time when we call, she'd be like, "Here's Pachile." Oh, that name! Oh my gosh, that's what she calls me full time.
Pachile, now we know Pachile.
Look at uziphathile. And she'd be like, yes, Pachila, uziva njani namhlanje? Kubuhlungu uphi sisi? I'd be like, akubuhlungwanga ndawo. I'm resting. I'm resting my body. I'm okay. And they'd be like, okay, so, and some would want to know exactly what am I going through in detail. So it at some point it would get overwhelming, and it would, depending on what day it gets me in. So like I said earlier, you go through a series of emotions, and you need to be mentally fit. You need to be constantly on your toes, to affirm yourself that you are okay. And when you are not, also admit that, you know what, I am not, I'm feeling weak, but what am I going to do about it? Because the objective is to be in a better state than I'm at now. So, look, dealing with the various types of communication and messages I was getting, um, at the end of the day, it's laid with me as to, is it life that I want? And what am I taking out of the messages that are being brought towards me? And because it's life that I want, I took out what will give me life, what will give me that, and what will make me think ahead.
I love the choices that you've made because everything was presented to you and you sifted and picked up only that which serves you, which is very important because you had a reason to carry on. And that reason had to do with the people that, with what you believe is your life purpose. For example, my grandchild, your mother, and your
Yes.
immediate family, and those that are closest to you. So, what message would you say? And I want to say advice because you're an expert now. Hello. If you've personally experienced it, that gives you the title of an expert. You are an expert in your own personal experience. What message would you give to a person that receives the news today, this afternoon, tomorrow, that they have
Mm.
tested positive for COVID-19?
Number one, from the time you are awaiting a result, make sure you're taking care of yourself. Train your mental state. Well, fertilize your mind. You know, because because sometimes we are responsible. We inflict our own defeating things in life in general. So just make sure you feed yourself with positivity as much as you can. Avoid people that are going to make you panic. If it means staying off social media, don't watch the news. To this point, I don't know how many and what are the numbers of positive cases, who's died, how many people have died. I decided to stay away from those news because the next thing I was gonna think, yo, maybe Ngomso, I'm gonna be part of the stats of dead people. So avoid negative information and what's communicated as much as possible. And personal care for yourself, your well-being. Uh, Apply hygienic measures. Sometimes just start where you are. If it's not what you were used to doing before, wash your hands every moment you get. Your diet, ensure that you are boosting your immune system. I mean, I'm not what I love tea generally. I love food generally.
I know, right?
So I think what made it easy for me to be able to make use of these concoctions, your lemons, your gingers of this world, is that I'm generally a hot beverage lover. So start consuming things like that, your lemon, ginger, honey with hot water concoction. Don't wait up until the time you are told that you are positive. Get your multivitamins. Listen to your body. If you have a headache, I've got newly found respect for Panado. Take a Panado. Sleep, rest, sleep. You are not lazy. Sleep. That's all I can say. And read up positive things. Just prepare your mindset, because I believe that I'm one mentally stable person, and I believe that, look, I've got a really bold and strong character, but this thing showed me flames.
Mm.
So now imagine someone who does not deem themselves to be like that, what it will do to them emotionally. So, but just spend time and talk to people who will actually make you see the option of living other
I
than
love
anything.
fertilize your mind. A number of people having lost the battle or over this pandemic would say that a person that has gone through where you are and got to the other side has actually been given a second lease of life. So, what should we expect from the new Asavela on the other side? Are you going to be with us, or should we just watch this space?
Look, one thing that my primary, the one thing that I get text for is that I sell beds at a local 3-star hotel here in Bloemfontein. So that's I'm going to be going back full force in that. As you saw, the tourism sector and hospitality has been in the news for fighting for measures to make sure livelihood is continued. So I'm going to be joining in those some of those conversations and activities. And then, as you know, our DJ Vela Funk, as you said,
Yes, yes.
I'm going to be going back on the airwaves from the 29th of July. We'll be back on radio, doing radio, which is my first love and what I love. And then, look, before this, the plan was to relaunch my confectionery and bakery side hustle, which is what I did some time back as well. So, look, I will be baking, I will be talking, doing radio, doing things that I love. And then there's also a few initiatives that I started working on while I'm here. So just watch the space for those. Um, there's just remember this hashtag survivor. Look out for something along those lines. Hashtag
Okay,
survivor. So look out for something along those lines. And then a lot will be launched over during the course of August into
great.
September. Yes.
Wonderful. Hashtag survivor. Be on the lookout for that. And there we have it, guys. This is Asavela Mbatha talking to us from her quarantine space in Bloemfontein. Follow her on Facebook. She is Asavela Mbatha. Instagram, that is where you are, DJ Velafang, right?
Yes. At
Instagram
Asavela_Velafang.
at Asavela underscore Velafang or DJ Velafang. Let's do it correctly. They need to get it right.
Okay, so on Instagram, it's at Asavela_Velafang DJ.
Wonderful. Please follow her. You might want to have more of information and a lot of wisdom that comes from her. You will get hold of her there. And of course, she's at CUTFM. And you can always find her on what slot? Are you still on the same old slot or have you changed?
I'm actually back to my old slot, which is the Business Buzz. It's a current affairs talk show every Wednesday between 6 p.m. to 7 p.m.
The business buzz,
So
that's where you her.
yeah, I talk money matters, things that affect your pocket.
And so next time when we have a conversation, we must actually talk about the business and money and the brown people. So that's an appointment for another day. Hashtag survivor. Be on the lookout for Asavela preparing ourselves for something brand new in her second lease of life. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for sharing your story with us, Asavela. And thank you everyone who has
Thank you for
joined us
having me.
Instagram as well as Facebook Live. And keep watching Speak It with Zoliso because we have more of energizing, electrifying, interesting stories that are going to touch you that will be coming from now on. Up until then, remember to shut up, shape up, and show up in the appropriate time. Goodbye.
Thank you.